Once upon a time, in a small village called Ariam, there lived a poor couple named Amari and Jengu. They were known throughout the land for their undying love for each other. Amari had the face of an angel, her beauty radiating like the morning sun, while Jengu possessed a rugged charm with a heart as cold as the winter wind. They have been childless for 6 years. This has left them sad and worried as the villagers mocked them not only for their childlessness but also for their poor condition. Deeply longing for a child to fill their lives with joy, Amari would always cry herself to sleep every night. She often wondered why she had not been able to conceive. Though very beautiful and the most sought-after maiden at her time, she had made sure to keep her virginity for her husband. Amari always goes to the stream to fetch water when the stream is quiet and peaceful. She finds solace at that time and cries to her heart's content. This has become a habit for her, and she has done that for several years. One day, with a humbled heart, she prayed to the gods to bless her with a child. Touched by her sincerity, the gods granted her her wish. As she was leaving the stream that day, she saw a very beautiful baby girl abandoned in the bush. She searched around for the mother, but didn't find anyone. Out of compassion, she took the baby back to the village. They searched for her parents, but it seems as if they disappeared into the thin air. The king and the cabinet members decided to allow Amari and her husband to raise her, since they had no child of their own. Amari and her husband were excited. Finally, they have their own child. They took the baby home and named her Jamila, which means beautiful. Jamila's true beauty lies in her unwavering kindness, her selflessness, and her ability to love unconditionally. They loved and cherished her. The arrival of Jamila in their home brought so much good luck to them. Django's farmland began to thrive. He became rich overnight. They would buy so many beautiful gifts for Jamila, and she became the apple of their eyes. As Jamila grew up, she became even more beautiful, her beauty shining like the sun. Everyone loves and adores her. She became everything her parents had hoped for, a kind and loving soul, just like her mother. Her laughter echoed through the village, bringing smiles to the faces of all who heard it. Her heart was pure, and her beauty inside and out was undeniable. However, when Jamila was 6 years old, Amari became pregnant. Their joy knew no bounds. Jamila was excited that she was finally going to have a sibling. Amari and Janko were blessed with a baby girl, a second daughter, whom they named Nasia, meaning miracle in their native tongue. However, unlike Jamila, Nasia has a cold heart and a wicked nature. She possessed a beauty that was superficial, for her soul was tainted by envy and malice. Nasia, from a young age, began to fight her sister Jamila. From the day she heard the story of how her parents found her, she began picking fights with her and would form the victim at the end of the day. She would make up stories that put Jamila into trouble with their parents, especially their father. As the years passed by, Amari and Jenko began to favor their daughter Nasia over Jamila. They showered her with affection and praise, while neglecting Jamila's needs and desires. Nasia rebelled in her parents' favoritism, using it as a weapon against her sister Jamila. She taunted and belittled Jamila at every given opportunity, reminding her of the circumstances surrounding her death. This leaves Jamila heartbroken and filled with sorrow. The maltreatment became so bad that they cared less if she had fed or not. Amari would insult and berate Jamila while Django scolds and beats her at will. Though she does all the housework, while Nasia does nothing but lays around. No matter how much she tried to please her parents, they were never pleased. Nasia would steal or spoil things while Jamila gets blamed for it. They often threaten to send her to her home in the bush if she continues with her bad attitude. One fateful day, Nasia has stolen meat from her mother's pot. When Amari realized that someone tampered with the meat she left, she angrily summoned the girls and asked them about the meat. Nasia lied that she had seen Jamila stealing the meat. Jamila denied ever touching the meat, but Nasia's conviction was strong. When Jenko, their father, returned home that day, Amari told him about how Nasia caught Jamila stealing meat. Jamila tried so hard to explain that it wasn't her, but it all fell on deaf ears, as they already believed their daughter. Jamila was abused and beaten severely by their father and sent out of the house. Heartbroken, Jamila angrily left their home with nowhere to go. Her heart felt so heavy, especially as it kept replaying her parents' vicious words to her. She has often wondered what offense she had committed that had made her once loving family turn against her. Not having anywhere or any relatives to go to, Jamila ventured into the forest. She walked the forest with no food and no water to drink. Finally, she saw an empty land spacious enough to contain a hut. She decided to settle down there. She built a small shelter and would hunt the forest for food. Her tears became food as she cries bitterly every day. The gods, witnessing the injustice that had befallen Jamila, decided to deal with Django and his family. They have lost the key to their success. They became rich because of Jamila, and since Jamila is no more in their life, the gods started withdrawing their wealth. Gradually, Django lost all his wealth. Meanwhile, in another village, there lived a certain old widower named Manzi Ofoma, who has 4 sons. He had gone hunting and was having a hard time catching anything. He had wandered around for so long without catching any animal. Tired and hungry, he decided to return home and continue hunting the next day. As he was leaving, he saw a very beautiful young girl picking roots in the forest. He was shocked as he was not expecting to see anyone there at that time, and no one can survive in that forest except for an experienced hunter or someone stronger. He concluded that she must be a spirit. With an uneasy feeling, he decided to tiptoe out of that environment. At that moment, Jamila felt someone behind her and turned. "Good evening," she greeted the old man. The old man, though scared, tried not to show it. He replied back, "Young lady, what are you doing here all alone? Where are your parents? Do you know how dangerous this place is?" Jamila replied that she lives there and she's just fetching wood. The old man was shocked to hear that. Upon further inquiry, he realized that she was a poor orphan and a victim of circumstance. The kind old man couldn't leave her all alone in the forest, knowing how dangerous it is. He decided to take her home to his family. On their way leaving the forest, the old man was able to kill 3 big bushmeats. He marveled and said to Jamila, "You bring me luck, young lady." As they walked home, Jamila's heart was filled with anxiety. not knowing the kind of welcome awaits her. When they got to his hut, he introduced her to his sons and explained her predicament to them. To her surprise, they all welcomed her and promised to help and protect her. That was how Jamila started living with her new family. Jamila's presence in Mazi Ofoma's house brought so much luck and blessings to them. His home became lively again. Since the death of his wife, his sons had been sad and always gloomy. His sons' businesses and farmland began to thrive, and laughter returned to his home again. They all loved and respected Jamila. One night, Mazi Ofoma couldn't sleep. He was filled with the thoughts of Jamila. The next morning, he called his four sons together for a meeting. He told them of his intention to adopt Jamila as a daughter, since they do not have a sister. They all agreed except for his fourth son, Tochi. Everyone was shocked to hear that, because Jamila had been nothing but humble and respectful to them. Mazi Ofoma then asked his son for his reasons. He replied that he has fallen in love with her and wouldn't want her as a sister but as a wife. Upon hearing that, they all heaved a sigh of relief. They were all happy and excited. Jamila was summoned to the meeting. She approached them with fear in her heart. 1,001 thoughts were going through her mind. I must have offended them somehow. What if they asked me to leave? All were running through her mind. To her surprise, rather than sending her away as she has feared, Tochi, the first son, asked her to be his wife. Jamila, who has secretly been loving Tochi, accepted his proposal. Mazi Ofoma was so happy that finally laughter and joy had returned to his home. Jamila was not only loved by her husband, but she was also respected and cared for by her father-in-law and brothers-in-law. Meanwhile, at Aryan village, things had gone bad for Jenku and his family. He had lost all his businesses. They looked for Jamila but couldn't find her. They regretted sending Jamila away, not because they have lost their wealth, but because they realized how inhumane they were to her. They realized the error of their ways and remembered the beauty in Jamila's heart, the same beauty they had once adored. Nasir, witnessing the transformation in her family, was filled with a sense of regret. She realized the emptiness that consumed her, the void left by her wickedness. She confessed her crimes to her parents and asked for their forgiveness. Jamila's husband Tochi encouraged her to forgive her family and make peace with them. Jamila decided to visit her parents with her husband. When her family saw her, they were filled with joy and they quickly rushed and hugged her. Overwhelmed with remorse, they fell to their knees, seeking forgiveness from her and vowing to make amends. Jamila embraced them so tight and told them she had forgiven them. She introduced her husband to them and asked for their blessings, which they gave her wholeheartedly. After Jamila's visit to her family, things turned around again for them. Together, they worked to rebuild their family, nurturing the bond that had been fractured by favoritism and jealousy. Jamila was happy that she had finally reconciled with her family. 9 months later, Jamila, who was pregnant at the time she reconciled with her parents, gave birth to a bouncing baby boy, and she lived happily ever after with her husband and her beautiful son. This story teaches us that kindness, compassion, and forgiveness are qualities that truly make a person beautiful. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more stories.